It's officially CX-70 month. We're seeing CX-70s arrive all over the US. And yes, Canada's had theirs for some time. More Mazdas means more sales, means more growth, means hitting our targets. More car bids. What's up, everybody? I'm Jonathan Sewell Sales at Mitchell Mazda on the Boulevard in Enterprise, Alabama. And in this Mazda news update, we're talking about May 2024 sales results. And yes, I realize that we're a third or more into the month of June. I missed this update. It wasn't posted in the newsroom in its usual location. I'm excited about this new asterisk mid-size crossover, twin of the CX-90, but only 2 rows, and we have already delivered one of our first 2 that came in on the same day, both jet black mica, one with black, one with red, and our first customer opted for the black leather. So that gives me a little bit more time with the red Napa leather. The reason that our customer chose it is because of how unique and beautiful all the black accents were. And if you've purchased the CX-70 since they've been released in Canada or the US, drop a comment down below so we can give you some hearts and share a little bit of your story of why you chose the 70. Now let's jump into May sales results, starting with the US. May sales, the second biggest month of the year actually, were 35,562, second only to March that just went over 37,000. So May wasn't quite as big as we wanted it here in the US, but big enough, and we will continue to see an increase with more CX-50s, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, more CX-90s, we hope, and the new CX-70s rolling out. That brings the year-to-date number of 166,790. So still tracking and still excited to see how things finish as we get towards the halfway point, finishing up in June. That is a single-digit increase month over month, and we're tracking year over year a little over 8%. So we're making those gradual climbs headed towards the biggest year ever in the U.S. CPO sales were the second biggest in program history at 6,725. So not only are there more new vehicles, but there's more certified pre-owns available. And I'm sure this is an affordability conversation as more with the higher interest rates and higher car prices, the certified pre-owns are more appealing to most customers. Mazda also gave us the best ever month of the CX-50, and we'll talk about that more as we continue on. And also the best May sales of CX-30. Remember, that's the one they expect to become the #1 or top dog in the Mazda crossover lineup. And then a best ever May of CX-90, which again, this May last year was CX-90 month, so it grew year over year. Now let's talk about our neighbors to the north, Mazda Canada, with a month of 6,908 sales. That is a single-digit increase as well. And a year-to-date of 26,475, which is a 19% increase year over year. So glad to have more vehicles available in Canada. Our neighbors down south, Mazda Motor de Mexico, with sales of 7,972. That's a 34% increase year over year, so definitely more vehicles available in Mexico. That brings their year-to-date total at 35,327, which is a 22% increase year over year. So glad both neighbors to the north and south are getting their share of inventory. Probably not as much as they would want, but we are working towards that overall goal of 600,000 in the next year to 2 years. So that'll be exciting and a lot more Mazda vehicles available to everyone. Before we jump into the individual breakdowns, let's talk about the CX-50 for one moment. The CX-50, with the best ever month, is increasing production from the Alabama plant. There's a large supply of these available in dealer inventory now. We had the best ever sales, and guess what? June now has the best ever incentives ever on CX-50. National APR 0% for 36 months, 0.9% for 48 60 and 1.9% for 72 months. Those are great savings. We've already had a lot of increased attention and interest of the CX-50 this month, and I think that they could break the best ever of 6,307 with a follow-up in June. Now let's jump into those individual product lines, starting with the Mazda 3. May's totals were 2,658. That's a breakdown of sedan and hatchback that you see, 1,622 and 1,036 respectively. And they did just announce the 2025 no changes. So I think it's going to be a short production year of 25 and maybe some changes in 26. But we'll talk about that in a later Mazda news update. Mazda 6, of course, gone. MX-5 Miata still tracking behind last year's numbers, but 956 with a breakdown of soft top and RF, as you see there, 468 and 488 respectively. CX-3 gone. CX-30 with the best May ever, 8,305, so still climbing, a 36% increase year over year. CX-5 still in the 5-digit club at 12,600. Down a little bit over last year, but still good numbers. One more CX-9 crossing the curb. Congratulations to that new Mazda owner. CX-50, as we mentioned, the best year or best sales month ever. 6,307, of course, will have the best year ever as well. MX-30 gone. CX-70 starting to roll out, probably in the western side of the country first. 136 units delivered, and now everybody's getting them, so exciting. Plug-in and Turbo S were the first two offers here, and if you have not seen it yet, you really should check it out and compare the 70 and the 90. CX-90 with the best May sales, 4,599. That brings the total in cars to 3,614. Total in trucks, the 31,948 for that grand total in May of 35,562. Congratulations to all you new Mazda owners in the US, in Canada, in Mexico. Make sure you comment down below what you purchased in May so that we can give you some hearts. And I think that wraps it up here for this edition of Mazda News Update. I do appreciate the continued support on the channel. And if you'd like more Mazda news, updates, and my opinions and breakdowns of vehicle features, I would appreciate a click on the subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you won't miss any starting to do some premieres and maybe some lives in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you are notified when those go live so you can jump in and join along with me on any question and answer situations there. I'll be here on the Boulevard listening for all the latest Mazda news, and I'll see you on the next one.